The door didn't give right away. Took a second shove with my shoulder before it flung open. Sheep chain lock? Popped like paper. I caught the tail end of a laugh hers. Then silence, like the room forgot how to breathe. He was the first thing I saw. Shirt off. Socks on. Standing at the foot of the bed like some smug deer in headlights. She was half wrapped in the bedsheet, eyes wide. Get away from my wife, I said. Then I put my fist through his face. He stumbled back over the little forward desk chair, hit the nightstand, and bounced. Hard. I didn't wait. Grabbed him by the wrist, twisted like I was wringing out a wet rag. Old muscle memory kicked in, used the joints, not the muscles. He howled and dropped to his knees. David, stop, she screamed, pulling the sheet around herself like it mattered now. He tried to crawl, still half naked, blood trailing from his lip, already swelling. I kicked the back of his calf and he collapsed like dead weight. The cheap motel carpet groaned under him. Her mouth opened but nothing came out. He whimpered. Jesus, my nose. I crouched beside him. I should break more than that. You know that, right? I stood, turned to her. That's when it hit me, she was still beautiful. Even now. Hair mess, mascara smudged, clutching a bedspread like it could save her soul. Say something, Jess. She blinked. David, please, this is a mistake. No, mistake was letting it go this long. I ran a hand through my hair, still breathing heavy. I gave you every chance to come clean. This isn't how she started. No? You were gonna send me a postcard? Hey honey, just checked into a motel with a stranger, don't wait up. He's not a stranger, she snapped, instantly regretting it. That's the thing. You can lie with your words. But the truth, it always leaks through the cracks. I turned back to the guy. He hadn't moved. Blood on his teeth. Eyes blinking slow. She turned away, sat on the edge of the bed. Started to cry, quiet and pitiful. The kind of crying you do when the guilt finally catches up but the shame still has the wheel. I walked to the little table, grabbed his phone off it. Flipped through. They weren't even careful. Texts. Photos. A few videos. He had an album. A whole album. She stood suddenly, face red. What do you want me to say, David? That I'm sorry? That it was a mistake? I raised an eyebrow. You want to call it a mistake or a lifestyle? I'll be in touch, I said, opening the door. She stepped forward. Please. Don't go. Not like this. I walked out. The house was dark when I got back. Porch light out. Like it knew. I let the door close behind me without flipping the deadbolt. My boots hit the hardwood one slow step at a time. That smell, our home smell, cinnamon and laundry detergent and a faint trace of her perfume. Still hung in the air like a ghost that didn't get the message. I dropped the burner phone on the counter and tossed the blood-spotted hoodie in the trash. Sat down at the kitchen table. Same spot where we celebrated our 20th anniversary with cake from Costco and half-drunk wine. I stared at my knuckles. Swollen. Split on the second one. Bone-deep ache under the adrenaline. But it wasn't the pain keeping me wired. It was the wallet. Mark's. He must have dropped it in the scramble when I knocked him off his feet. I found it in my jacket pocket while driving home like fate slipped me a clue. Black leather. Clean. Too clean. I opened it. There it was. Badge. Silver. Etched in bold, Naperville Police Department. Name, Mark Lafferty. I laughed. Not loud. Just a single breath sharp through the nose. I knew the name. Hell, I should have known the face. Probably passed him at the 4th of July parade last summer, waving at the mayor in full uniform. Maybe he was one of the guys giving out stickers to kids outside the farmer's market. Local boy. Local badge. I leaned back in the chair, staring at the badge like it might apologize. That explained the confidence. The cocky lean. The way he didn't flinch when I broke down the door. He wasn't just some fling. He thought he was protected. Thought the uniform made him untouchable even when it was off. I cracked my neck and stood. Suddenly the whole thing stank different. This wasn't just a betrayal. This was betrayal with backup. I spent the next few hours digging. Not online. Not through her things. Through my own. Notes I jotted in the last few months. Her schedule. The inconsistencies. Late-night meetings that didn't match her school's calendar. Restaurant receipts I found in the laundry. Perfume samples tucked into folders she claimed were from staff conferences. And there it was. A pattern. Every district meeting she claimed to attend, Mark was on the schedule too. Different departments. Different buildings. But always the same nights. I sat on that info like a landmine. No need to step on it just yet. Because that's when she texted. Jessica, please come home. We need to talk. Jessica, you can't just disappear after that. Jessica, I made a mistake. I didn't reply. Instead, I walked upstairs. The bedroom still had her scent. The bed was cold on one side. Our framed photos on the dresser stared back at me like I was the one who cracked. I looked at the one from last summer. Me, her, and the boys. Our boys. I didn't talk about them much, not yet. Not at the motel. Not during the rage. But they were always there, running under the surface like a silent current. Both in college now. Good kids. Smart, sharp kind. One's thinking about law school. The other's doing some environmental science thing out west. I paid for both tuitions up front. Sacrificed vacations, home repairs, even dipped into what was left of my military benefits. And Jessica? She always played the role, Mom of the Year. But now? Now I didn't know if any of it was real. The next morning I answered her text. Just 4 words. Me, come by the house? She arrived looking like someone on trial. Hair neat. Makeup minimal. No jewelry. The kind of presentation you wear when you're trying to look small in a big moment. I let her in without a word. She sat at the table, folded her hands. I messed up, she said. You didn't deserve that. I stared at her. How long? Her eyes dropped. Almost a year. I nodded. That's honest. Wasn't expecting that. She looked up. I didn't mean to fall for him. It just happened. I laughed once. You fall into potholes. Not affairs. David, she started, but I held up a hand. You don't get to David me. You gave that up last night. Silence. I want to fix this, she whispered. I want to come home. This is your home, I said. You just lit it on fire. She started crying. The slow kind. Not the hysterical sobbing. The guilty kind where they already know the outcome. We have kids, she said finally. We've built a life. There it was. We have kids. Not I love you. Not I regret it. Just facts. Tools. Reasons. I let it sit for a while. You know what's funny? I said finally. You and him, Jessica, you weren't careful. You thought you were. But you weren't. Her brows furrowed. I know who he is, I continued. I know what badge he wears. I know what gun he carries. I know who he reports to. Her face paled. David, please don't do anything stupid. Oh, I'm not doing anything stupid, I said, standing. I'm doing something smart. She stood too, sudden panic behind her eyes. You can't go after him. He's protected. That's what makes it fun. David, think about our family. I am. Every damn second. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Where are you going? She asked. To buy a printer, I said. Why? To make some copies. Then I walked out. You ever see what a $69 printer from Staples can do when a man's got vengeance running through his veins? It hums like a sleeping dragon. Quiet. Focused. Spits out truth, one grainy image at a time. Text messages. Photos. Location data. Screenshots stacked in neat little folders. I didn't need to fake anything. They'd done all the work for me, I just organized it. 9 copies in total. 1 for each board member at Jessica's school. 1 for the police department's internal affairs office. 1 for a local blog run by a woman who lives off scandal and has the moral restraint of a rabid raccoon. And the last one? That went to Mrs. Lafferty. Didn't sign any of it. No return address. No fingerprints. Just brown envelopes dropped in blue mailboxes 2 towns over at different times of the day. Spaced it out. Slow drip. Like bleeding out a wound on purpose. They wouldn't see it all at once. They'd feel it. By Thursday, it had begun. The first ripple hit the school board. I know because I've got a friend who does maintenance work over there. He called me from a supply closet, whispering like we were in a spy thriller. Dude, there's a meeting. Not like a regular one of those hush-hush, no-notes type. Saw Jessica walking looking like she saw a ghost. Good. That was the goal? Jessica came by the house again that night. She didn't ring the doorbell, just knocked once and stood there, arms folded like a kid who'd been called to the principal's office. I know it was you, she said. I didn't even flinch. You know a lot more now than you did a week ago. Be grateful. Her face twisted. You're trying to ruin me. No. I'm letting you do that. I'm just putting mirrors up. David, this could cost me everything. It already cost me everything, I said. And I didn't even get a say. That shut her up. She looked around the porch like the siding might offer her a way out. What do you want? She asked quietly. I want people to see you, I said. The real you. Not the carpool hero. Not the polished staff room commander. Just the woman who smiled in my face and slipped out the back door. She turned to leave, but I stopped her with a question I'd been saving. Does he know yet? She turned back, blinking. What? Your lover. Does he know what's coming? She swallowed hard, but didn't answer. That meant no. The next morning, it happened. Mark's wife, her name's Elise, showed up at the precinct. I wasn't there, of course, but the local gossip page lit up before noon. Someone filmed it from their car. Elise storming the front lobby, envelope in hand, screaming his name loud enough to rattle the vending machines. "You think I wouldn't find out?" she yelled. There's something pure about that kind of fury. Not the shrieking, messy kind, but the laser-sharp rage of someone humiliated publicly. She didn't just call him out. She filed suit. And when she did, the world got a name. Jessica Atwell, assistant principal at Fox River High. In the legal docs, in black and white, Elise wasn't shy. Claimed alienation of affection. Emotional distress. Cited text messages. Mentioned locations. Motel 6. Comfort Inn. A school conference trip to Peoria. All of it. Jessica's name was now tied to it permanently. That night, I poured myself a drink and sat out back. Cold again. Early March creeping in. But I didn't feel it. My phone buzzed. Jessica again. Jessica, you don't understand. I was lonely. You were distant. It wasn't supposed to get serious. I didn't reply. She followed up. Jessica, the boys don't know yet. Please, David. Don't tell them. Let me fix it. That's when I remembered our sons. Off at college. Smart. Sharp. Gentle. Kids who thought their mom was a saint. And maybe they didn't need the full firebomb. Not yet. But I knew they'd find out eventually. Because the truth? It never stays buried. Not when it's fed by whispers and internet posts and screenshots that travel faster than guilt. I finished my drink and stared at the snow in the backyard. It hadn't melted yet. Still white. Still quiet. Just like me. But under the surface? Still burning. They say scandal spreads fast in small towns. But Naperville? Naperville turns it into a parade. By Tuesday morning, it was everywhere. Not national news, no CNN banner. But local enough. Community forums. School Facebook groups. Anonymous tip-offs to the patch. Even that hyperactive mom blogger, the one who turns bake sales into breaking news, had posted a pixelated photo of Jessica's staff ID badge laid over a blurry shot of her walking out of a district office. Fox River High assistant principal named in extramarital affair lawsuit involving local officer. The comments section was a bonfire. Half the folks were shocked. The other half pretended they weren't. But everyone had an opinion. I stayed quiet. Didn't reply. Didn't gloat. Just watched. Because watching? That's a kind of power too. The school board scheduled a closed-door hearing 2 days later. But someone leaked the agenda. Line 5, Review of Conduct Unbecoming, J. Atwell. I heard from a friend who worked there that Jessica came in early. Didn't speak to anyone. Brought a manila folder full of papers she probably thought would help: performance reviews, letters of recommendation, testimonials. They weren't gonna help. Because once folks get a taste of gossip that juicy, they're not interested in your accomplishments. They want confession. Tears. Some public flogging to make themselves feel a little better about the dullness of their own marriages. Her boss, a woman named Celia, I'd met her once at a fundraiser. Polite. Sharp. Looked like someone who kept a swear jar on her desk and filled it herself. Word is, she didn't make eye contact with Jessica when she walked into the conference room. An hour later, Jess walked out pale. Shaky. Not crying, but close. Not fired. Not yet. Administrative leave. Pending further investigation. They gave her the polite version of exile. She texted me that night. Jessica, they said I might lose my job. I worked my whole life for that. I stared at it for a long time. What did she expect me to say? I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. Let's talk. I typed none of that. Instead, I typed. Me, you chose it. Live with it. And I meant it. Mark didn't get off easy either. He was suspended too. The paper ran his name under a photo of him in uniform, stiff as a mannequin. Headline, Local Officer Named in Lawsuit Under Review by Internal Affairs. They didn't show his face after I broke it. Too bruised. His department did their best to spin it. We take all allegations seriously. This matter is under review. No further comment. But Naperville folks? They don't need more comment. They've already made up their minds. He became a cautionary tale. Not because he cheated, but because he got caught. And that's what people really hate, being reminded how fragile the illusion is. 3 nights after the hearing, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I don't usually answer. But something told me to pick up. Dad? I froze. It was Ryan. Our oldest. His voice cracked a little. Deepened since I last heard it, but still carried that same edge from when he used to defend his little brother on the playground. I got this article, he said. I didn't answer right away. I didn't know what to believe, he added. Then I saw Mom's name. Then Mark's silence. I'm sorry, he said. That hit harder than any punch I threw in that motel room. You don't have to be, I said quietly. Is it true? I sighed. Yeah, it is. He didn't ask how long. Didn't ask who started it. Just sat with it. Like a weight. I told Noah, he said after a while. We figured you wouldn't want to. Noah, our younger son. The soft one. Always drawing, always reading, always looking at the world like it was a little too loud for his taste. I pictured him hearing the news and just quietly absorbing it like he'd already known. She wants to talk to us, Ryan said. I'm sure she does. He hesitated. You okay? That almost broke me. Getting there, I said. One day at a time. He didn't say anything else. Just a quiet, love you, Dad, and then the line went dead. After the call, I sat outside again. Cold night. Bourbon in hand. The trees bare. Wind dragging through the yard like it was searching for something. And I realized this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about truth. About finally being seen. About standing in the fire and not turning away even when the smoke choked everything familiar. I'd spent most of my life protecting people. But now I was protecting myself. And that was new. It felt good. She showed up on a Sunday. Didn't text. Didn't call. Just knocked. The sound was soft, but I knew it was her. I opened the door and there she stood, a hair-curled, sweater too nice for a casual visit. The look of someone trying to wear innocence like it still fit. Can I come in? She asked. I stepped aside. She walked into the living room like it was a museum. Staring at things like she'd forgotten them, the picture frames, the old couch, the scuffed floors from the boys' wrestling days. Place feels the same, she said, more to herself than me. Didn't think betrayal redecorated, I replied. She winced. I deserved that. Yeah, you did. She sat on the edge of the couch like she wasn't sure if she was allowed. I didn't tell her otherwise. I talked to Ryan, she said. I didn't move. And Noah. Still didn't move. They were cold. I've never heard Ryan that distant. Like I was a stranger. I looked at her then. You are. Her eyes welled up. You don't understand, No, I cut her off. You don't understand. You made a decision and thought the fallout would be manageable. A bump. A little drama, then we'd go back to Sunday brunches and college care packages. You don't think I regret it? She snapped. You think I wanted to hurt you? No. I think you wanted something else more than you wanted us. That shut her up. She looked down. Pulled something out of her purse. A folded piece of paper. I wrote a letter, she said, handing it to me. To the board. I'm resigning. I took it but didn't open it. I can't go back there, she said. Not after everything. I'm not stupid, David. I know my reputation's done. But the boys, they're still my children. I don't want to lose them. You already did, I said. You're just the last one to notice. She wiped her face with the sleeve of her sweater. Took a breath. Then stood. You don't have to forgive me, she said, heading to the door. But don't turn them against me. I didn't, I said calmly. You did that all by yourself. She didn't reply. Just closed the door behind her with a soft click. An hour later, the second knock came. Not her this time. Mark. Bandaged nose. Sunglasses. Civilian clothes. Looked like a guy trying too hard to blend in and failing at every step. He stood on my porch like he owned part of the view. Can we talk? He asked. I didn't answer. Just stepped outside, closed the door behind me. She told me you've been spreading things, he said. Spreading? I smiled. You mean the truth? He shifted. This is getting out of hand. I stepped closer. No, Mark. It's just getting started. He raised his hands like a peace offering. Look, I get it. You're pissed. But we all make mistakes, man. I didn't know it was gonna go this far. That word, man, hit wrong in my ears. Mark, do you know what I did before this suburban fantasy? He blinked. No. Didn't think so. Let's just say I've been in rooms hotter than this and walked out clean. This? What you did? It's the first time I ever felt ashamed to come home. He tried to talk, but I kept going. You don't get to show up here and negotiate the fallout. You made your move. Now you live with it. He stepped back. I just came to say, don't come back, I interrupted. Next time you show up, you better have a badge and a warrant. Otherwise, you're trespassing. His jaw twitched. For a second, I saw the flicker of tough guy in him, but it faded just as quick. He turned and walked away. Fast. Later that night, I opened Jessica's letter. It was short. Too short for what she'd done. A paragraph about regret. Another about responsibility. A closing line that said something like, I hope one day the community can remember the good I did. I tossed it in the fireplace. Watched the edges curl, blacken, and finally disappear. That wasn't for the community. That was for her. The next day, I sat at the same printer again. This time, only one copy. Just a single PDF file. Every piece of evidence stitched into one brutal, undeniable package. Photos, texts, dates, his badge number, her signature on a motel receipt. I uploaded it anonymously. No threats, no message. Just truth handed over to the inbox of a local podcast called Naperville Unfiltered. They specialized in digging up exactly the kind of polished dirt that people like Jessica used to think would stay buried. And I knew once they touched it, it would go viral. No more whispers. No more privacy. Just exposure. Bright, surgical, final. I didn't even listen to the episode right away. Didn't have to. The first text came in before sunrise from Greg, my old buddy in Michigan. Hey, this that Jessica from Naperville? The podcast just dropped. Wild stuff. By 9 a.m. it was everywhere. Naperville Unfiltered, episode 237, the assistant principal and the cop. I didn't use my name. Didn't need to. The documents spoke for themselves. They read everything aloud verbatim. Messages, timestamps, quotes from the lawsuit. They blurred photos, but names? Those were crystal clear. Jessica Atwell. Sergeant Mark Lafferty. Comfort Inn. Room 117. The hosts treated it like an expose and a soap opera. Casual but cutting. That Midwestern style where they make betrayal sound like a weather report. Here's a woman trusted to guide students, mentor staff, spending work hours in motels with a married cop. The male host chuckled at one point. This guy's wife sues everybody and the husband she cheated on might as well be invisible. Never speaks, never posts. Guy's a ghost. That part hit different. Not invisible, I thought. Just waiting. By noon, the fire had jumped platforms. Clips from the podcast were circulating on TikTok. Reddit threads popped up dissecting the texts. People were arguing over whether Jessica should have stepped down sooner, whether Mark should lose his badge, whether the husband should go public. Some folks blamed her. Some blamed him. Nobody blamed me. That was the first time in months I didn't feel like the ghost in my own life. Jessica called. Twice. Didn't pick up. Then she texted. Jessica, you said you wanted the truth out. Now it is. You've made your point. Stop. I stared at it for a long time. The thing about truth? Once it's loose, you don't get to put it back in the bottle. You don't stop it. You survive it. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you outlive it. That night, I finally hit play. Headphones in. Drink in hand. Sat on the back porch as the hosts laid it all out. My life, my wreckage, my quiet war, wrapped in digital packaging and shipped off to anyone with an internet connection. At one point, the woman host said, "You have to wonder what it's like for the husband in all this. To come home from war and walk straight into a different battlefield." That line stuck with me. Not because of the word war. I've had enough of that. It was come home. That's the part one never really did. Not until now. 3 days later, Mark was placed on unpaid leave. 2 weeks later, Jessica's resignation was made official. The school board released a generic statement. Something about standards and integrity. Nothing about the motel or the podcast or the angry parent groups that had flooded their inboxes. The kids at Fox River High, though? They knew. They made memes. Wore fake name tags that said, "Hello, I'm room 117. Some even tried to protest, half mocking, half serious. I wasn't proud of that part. But I didn't stop it either. Then something happened I didn't expect. I got a letter. Handwritten. From Elise. Mark's wife. She didn't rant. Didn't threaten. Didn't even ask questions. Just a plain, lined sheet of paper in tidy cursive. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you've lost. But I think I know how it felt. Thank you for the truth. People lie with such ease these days, it's a gift when someone doesn't. I'm not proud of how this all came out, but I'm not sorry it did. At the bottom she wrote, "He said you hit hard. I believe him." I smiled. Then I burned it. Not out of anger. Just closure. And then? The silence came. No more news. No more messages. Just quiet. The boys kept their distance from her. Spoke to me more. Ryan called about job interviews. Noah sent a photo of a hiking trip. They didn't mention Jessica, and I didn't ask. And me? I started sleeping again. Not long. Not deep. But real. Woke up one morning and realized I hadn't checked her social media in over a week. Didn't care where she was, who she was with, what mask she was wearing now. She could rebuild if she wanted to. She could pretend it was all behind her. But me? I wasn't pretending. I was finally free. It came in a plain white envelope. No return address. No handwriting on the front, just a typed label, David Atwell. I opened it at the kitchen table with a dull knife. Thought it was a credit offer at first. One of those you've been pre-approved scams. It wasn't. It was an invitation. Healing through truth, community rebuilding in the wake of personal scandal. Some kind of panel discussion being held at the library downtown. Hosted by a local therapist and a school liaison. Sponsored by the same board that forced Jessica to resign. There was a note clipped to the back. Mr. Atwell, we understand this request is unconventional. You are under no obligation to attend. But your perspective, your voice, could offer clarity to others affected. If nothing else, know that your story matters. Thank you. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I was flattered. Because I didn't know what I was anymore. A husband? No. That ended in room 117. A father? Still. Always. A victim? No, I don't think so. But a voice? Maybe. I didn't RSVP. Just showed up. Walked into the library's small auditorium wearing jeans and a clean flannel. No statement. No need to dress for war. There were maybe 40 people in the crowd. Folding chairs. Paper cups of coffee. An awkward silence that always comes when people know they're about to talk about something uncomfortable. Jessica was already there. I spotted her on the other side of the room. Hair done. Blouse stiff with apology. She looked smaller than I remembered, like someone who knew exactly how much ground she'd lost but still hoped to plant something in the dirt anyway. She didn't see me at first. Didn't see me until they called my name. I wasn't listed as a speaker, but they offered me a seat up front with the other participants. That's what they called us. Participants. Like this was a team-building exercise. There was a counselor. A grief coach. Even a young teacher who'd gone through her own public scandal, something about her husband and embezzlement. Jessica spoke first. Not to me. To the room. Soft voice. Rehearsed pauses. Apology language. I made mistakes. Deep ones. I hurt people I love. I lost things I valued. But I've also learned. And I'm trying to do better. Polite applause. A few nods. No fireworks. Then they turned to me. Mr. Atwell, would you like to say anything? I stood. Took a breath. Yeah. I think I would. I didn't come here for redemption, I said. Not mine. Not hers. Silence. I'm not gonna dress this up in therapy words. I came home one day and found out I was the last one to know my life wasn't mine anymore. Some folks shifted in their seats. I served overseas. I've been in fire zones. I've watched friends bleed out beside me. I've lost good men to things that never made the news. I looked at Jessica, but nothing ever made me feel more hollow than that motel room. She looked down. I spent 22 years trying to be good enough. Stable. Dependable. Not perfect, but solid. I thought that counted for something. More silence. And when it all came crashing down, I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just watched. I watched everything fall apart in slow motion. And then I did something about it. I looked back at the audience. Was it revenge? Maybe. Was it justified? I don't know. But it felt like truth. And sometimes that's all a man's got. The moderator thanked me. The audience clapped. But I didn't sit back down. I walked out. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't look back. Just kept walking until the cold air wrapped around me again and I finally exhaled. I got a voicemail later that night. Jessica's voice. Hello. You didn't have to say all that, but I guess you did. For you. For them. I get it. I do. I deleted it. No hate. Just done. I spent the next weekend cleaning out the garage. Found a box I hadn't touched in years, old photos, letters from the service, birthday cards from when the boys were little. I put them in a new box. Labeled it, keep. The rest? Trash. Sometimes healing starts with what you throw away. I didn't expect to see him. Didn't plan it. Didn't want it. I was downtown early morning. Coffee in hand waiting on the auto shop to finish rotating my tires. Had an hour to kill, so I wandered into the used bookstore next to the courthouse. Figured I'd flip through something forgettable. That's when I saw him. Mark. Uniform pressed. Name tag straight. Gun on the hip. He was walking out of the station across the street, chatting with a younger officer, pointing at something in the distance like he was giving directions to a rookie. Still had that same buzz cut. Still walked like he thought the sidewalk owed him space. But something was different. He looked smaller. Not in size. In spirit. A man shrunk by truth. He saw me. I know he did. We locked eyes for half a second. And just like that, he looked away. Didn't nod. Didn't wave. Just turned. Said something quick to the rookie. And ducked inside a patrol car like he couldn't get out of the sun fast enough. I didn't follow. Didn't want to. There's something powerful in not needing the last word. Later that night, Noah called. Usually it was Ryan who checked in more. Noah kept to himself. Always had. But that night, my phone buzzed at 9:18 p.m. "Hey, Dad," he said. "You got a second?" I muted the TV. "Always." He was quiet for a beat. Then, "I mailed you something. Should be there tomorrow. You could have just told me what it was." "No," he said. "I wanted you to open it. Alone. First." Then another pause. "I'm proud of you, Dad." I didn't know what to say. The silence stretched long enough for him to try and fill it. "I know I don't say that much, and I didn't really get it. Everything you went through. I thought it was just a bad marriage. Another breakup. But it wasn't that. It was betrayal. And you didn't fold." My chest got tight. "You showed us what strength looks like after everything's already broken," he said. "That matters. It matters to me." Cleared my throat. "I'm proud of you too, kid." We hung up a few minutes later. I just sat there for a while, staring at the screen, the soft glow of the call log fading into nothing. The package showed up the next day. Small box, brown paper, handwritten label in Noah's blocky, careful handwriting. Inside, a framed photo. It was me holding Noah and Ryan when they were little. Must have been 10, 12 years ago. Backyard. Sprinklers on. I was in jeans and a plain white tee. Both boys climbing all over me like jungle gym monkeys. We were soaked. Laughing. My arms out wide, like I was trying to hold on to both of them and the moment at the same time. There was a sticky note attached. "This is still who you are." That broke me a little. Not in a painful way. Just cracked something open. Because I had forgotten. After all the lies and hotel rooms and quiet rage, I had forgotten I wasn't just the guy who got left behind. I was the man who raised them, who showed up. That night, I walked the frame upstairs. Set it on the dresser where her old perfume bottles used to sit. She'd cleared her side of the closet a few weeks ago. Asked if she could take what was left. I said sure. Didn't even watch her pack. Now that space wasn't empty anymore. It had a picture of truth in it. Not hers. Mine. It came in an envelope like all the others had. Handwritten like she wanted it to feel personal. No return address, but I knew the script the second I saw it. Jessica always dotted her I's like she was writing on a Hallmark card. Even now, when everything had turned to ash, her handwriting still wanted to pretend it lived in a better world. I didn't open it right away. I poured coffee first, sat on the back porch, watched the wind roll dead leaves across the lawn. Then, finally, I sliced it open. It started like they always do. "David, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I've been thinking about everything. The damage, the weight of it, the silence between us now. And I just want to try one last time to say what I didn't say when it mattered." She wrote about the boys, how she missed them, how they wouldn't answer her texts, how she didn't blame them but it still broke her. She wrote about Mark, called it a delusion, said she never loved him, that it was about something missing, and not about someone better. Then she wrote this. "We had 22 years, David. We had a life. I know I burned it, but maybe, just maybe, something small is still worth saving. Even if it's just friendship. Even if it's just a beginning again." She signed it, with regret, but also with hope. Jessica. I folded it once, set it down on the table, didn't tear it up, didn't text her. I just sat there and realized something. I didn't hate her anymore, but I didn't want her back, either. That part of me, the part that once built dreams with her, it had finished dying a long time ago. This wasn't forgiveness. Not exactly. It was release. Like exhaling something I'd been holding for too many months. The same day, I got another message. Not a letter. A text. From Elise. We hadn't spoken since the lawsuit. Not directly. But we knew of each other. We'd walked through the same storm, just on opposite sides of the street. "Elise, hey, I know this is strange, but I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee." That was it. No explanation. No drama. Just two people who'd both watched their homes collapse from the inside out. I said yes. We met the next morning at a small place on Jefferson. One of those cafes with too many plants and indie music playing at half volume. She was already there when I walked in. Blue sweater, hair up. She looked tired, but steady. "David," she said, standing up. "Elise." We shook hands like people who'd signed a silent contract. "We won't pretend. We won't perform." We sat. She ordered tea. I got my usual black coffee. The conversation came slow at first, but honest. She told me Mark was out of the house, moved in with a cousin, that the divorce was quiet, as quiet as something like that could be. She didn't cry when she talked about it, just looked out the window sometimes like checking to make sure the world was still there. Then she said something I didn't expect. "I used to feel sorry for myself, like I was the fool, the woman who got replaced, discarded." She looked at me. "But now, I don't feel that way anymore, because I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't wreck a home. He did. She did." I nodded. "Sometimes surviving is the win," I said. She smiled. "That's what my therapist says." We laughed. Not hard, but real. And then she reached into her bag and pulled out a photo. Showed me her kids. Said they were doing okay. Said they were angry at their dad. But she told them to stay open, stay soft. "They'll need to forgive eventually," she said. "Not for him, for them." We talked for nearly an hour. Nothing romantic. Nothing weird. Just two people sharing the same scar.